Ads. I hate you, ads. Come on.
Also, what's happening? I'm live. What's happening, folks? Doski Woski, all that good stuff. Vash Lombardi for my people live over here. Jeff Cavanaugh for his people live over there. Y'all should know us by now. You should know us. Humbly, you should know us by now. Scoutcast Pod, all that good stuff. Brother Jeff, we ain't do one last week because it was cold outside, but
it was.
You good and all that?
I live by a fire station, so I actually ended up with electricity guilt because I never lost power, and I know everybody did, or a lot of people did, and I had zero struggles, so I have guilt over my electricity staying on.
Hey,
so move by a fire station. If you want to keep the lights on, move by a fire station.
Or it just not snow in Texas for another 30 years or so. That's how life works. It was a little warm outside today, but hey, good to have you back. Good to be back with you, sir. I ain't watched a whole bunch of film last week.
Oh my God!
I didn't realize that was.
Oh, see, so I feel guilty for you. You had problems, didn't you?
Hell yeah, but Jeff, I took it into perspective because it sounds goofy if I'm complaining about, I don't have lights at my crib. Or,
and
it's cold,
that up.
let me go in my truck to charge my phone. It just sounds real snobby and bratty. So, it was inconvenient, but, we could have been homeless, Jeff. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yeah, that would have been worse.
You know?
That would have been worse.
So, for anybody listening over there, think about your problems. It was 40 degrees in my crib. It was 19 outside the motherfucker. So, it is what it is. But, we're going to talk some draft today, Brother Jeff.
Oh yeah,
I ran into
it got bailed out.
A couple things that were interesting to me. I don't like mock drafts. I think they're the devil.
I love mock drafts.
I think they're the devil.
I love them.
I hate in particular these simulators because they just kind of let miscellaneous people just be in like control of them. But
I love those.
But when these media scout people do mock drafts, we should pay attention to them a little bit because they're drafting based on the buzz that they hear. So. Let me ask you a question, sir. I saw this mock that had Devontae Smith falling to the Minnesota Vikings, and they didn't trade up to get him.
Where do they pick? Where are they at?
Like 14?
I can see it. I can see it.
So cool. Let me ask you this. Devontae Smith shouldn't fall because he's small, but in your mind, do you think he would fall because he's small?
Yeah, if you want to
Why
get
don't you throw
Devontae
that?
Smith to 14, 15, 16 to that range, I think all you got to do is have Kyle Pitts go, have Jamar Chase go, have Jalen Waddle go, and I think your fourth receiver / offensive weapon guy, yeah, that could easily get there. Like with the offensive linemen, and then throw in Parsons, and then throw in 4 quarterbacks, maybe even 5. Yeah, that could happen because I don't know what order to put those receivers in. I really don't. If we're going to be honest, I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know the order that you would put him in. Okay, so look, you don't know for sure that you like Devontae Smith over Waddle or Chase. But when you say that those 3 guys are better than Pitts or some of these other or some of the defenders that we don't feel great about. Now, one thing I just want to say for everybody, teams can't draft. Right, so like teams suck at drafting. So if Smith falls because teams suck at drafting, that's a whole nother conversation. I just want to pick your brain on this a little bit.
Pitts is a stud.
Got bailed out again.
Pitts is a stud.
Here's a part 2.
Pitts is a stud. The only thing is that he plays tight end. That's the only thing that scares me is that he's a tight end.
So here's part 2 to my question, sir. I've been also seeing in those mocks consistently Kyle Pitts not getting past pick number 7. If the Eagles get Pitts at 6, I would do a choreographed hump dance in my living room. I would laugh a little bit on the inside. Have you dug deep into Kyle Pitts yet?
I have not technically studied Pitts, but I have watched Pitts while studying like 4 different DBs.
Sure. Pitts can play, but does it bother you that he's a tight end? Like, is he just a receiver playing tight end? Like, what's stopping us? First of all, I know Pitts is a really good player, but the value at tight end is weird. I know how you feel about drafting linebackers early. Right. That's how I feel about drafting running backs and tight ends early. All the best tight ends are either a product of an offense or a product of a really good quarterback. Name the good tight ends that just out here by themselves, just good by themselves. I don't think that really exists. So my big thing with Pitts, if he's just a receiver running past safeties and linebackers, wouldn't it just be smarter to get a 7th round receiver to run past safeties and linebackers like Darren Waller-esque, right? Or if he's a receiver, brother Jeff, is he better than the first three receivers that we was just talking about?
No, like if you were never going to line him up in line, or you weren't going to line him up in line a decent amount, then no, I don't think he's a better receiver than any of the top three.
Nope, that's picked off.
Like the thing about every draft conversation is, to do it justice, you have to go from like 8 different angles. Because with Kyle Pitts, I'll go back to one of the things you said. The reason you should be scared of tight end, and the reason you should be scared of linebacker, and the reason you should be scared of running back early is the positional value thing. And Pro Football Focus actually did a really good article on this. The drop-off over the last 10 years, when you just look at all the different positions, the drop-off from round 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 is its worst at corner. So that's the one that what we're saying is the league is good at evaluating corner. There's a drop-off from round 1 to 2 and 2 to 3.
Sure.
Same thing for offensive tackle, same thing for quarterback. At tight end, it's very small. At running back, it's literally 0. So, in theory, you would say, I don't want to take a tight end early because historically, I can find the same guy later. But doesn't that fly in the face of, we study these guys and we have an opinion? Like, Pitts can play.
Yeah.
Pitts is a beast. But history tells you no. Positional value tells you no. So I just think you got to balance all that. And then if you still want to pull the trigger, well, if you end up wrong, you deserve it because you went against data. Take that for data.
and I'm asking this though because this isn't just a Cowboy show. This is a all 32 team production or whatever. And like, just think, if you're a team like the Eagles or something, I even saw like Cincinnati drafted Pitts, which would be weird to me. But I think I'd be a little pissed off. And me being a Cowboys fan, so just my personal perspective, I saw these doomsday mock draft situations because I hate it because people just put them just together like that. And I think if Dallas went Pitts at 10, I'd be pretty upset about it, brother Jeff. I would be cool at the idea of how we could use him. But think about this. What would Pitts really do for you in this offense, right? He may get like 1,100 yards and like 7 touchdowns or something. That's fair. So now you got to ask yourself, can Jarwin and Schultz not do that? You see what I'm saying? And I think
that's what you got to ask yourself. Is taking Kyle Pitts going to upgrade something big time? And I think it does. Like, I think Jarwin is a big upgrade on Schultz. Like, Schultz had catches and yards.
Sure.
But for me, one of the things I like to look at with my tight ends is, okay, but tell me about the yards per catch. Because Dalton Schultz is more 7 or 8, and Blake Jarwin's more 11. And is Kyle Pitts going to be 13? Like, is my tight end now going to be, my off? It's hard because our buddy Bobby Belt, he makes a pretty good point where it's like, with the Cowboys offense, how much more efficient does Kyle Pitts make you?
Right.
You already have Cooper, Gallup, Lamb.
Yes.
Or is this redundant at some point to be like, I need an offensive weapon? Maybe, but damn it, he's good.
He's really good, but then here's another angle on this too. Just to put this in Cowboy land. It's for everybody. But just put this in Cowboy land. So Pitts would be interesting for us because he gives us a mismatch in like speed or something. Blake Jarwin was that dude. Blake Jarwin was a fast receiver in college that was bigger than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So he's mismatch guy. And Blake was like what, a 7th-round pick, undrafted, something like that.
Jarwin?
Yeah.
Crap, I forget. He might not have been drafted. I don't even remember.
Just go pick him up somewhere, right? That's what I think that tight end kind of should be in the league. And I think T.J. Hockenson was one of my favorite tight ends to ever watch film on. He ain't really tearing it up 8th overall picks worth in Detroit.
No, that's a pick. Oh,
I've seen the
I got lucky.
Kyle Pitts or whatever, because Evan Ingram ain't doing great.
That was lucky.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's safer. It's safer. Like, if you a team, that's early or whatever, you could take Pitts at anywhere between 5 through 13, or you could just take the best defender and take miscellaneous ass tight end in the later rounds, and you'll get the same value that you get. Pitts may be better, but the value will be the same. I think that's the conversation.
And like, for this team, the safest pick would probably be, in terms terms of if you want to go by position, the safest pick is in your first round picks. You want to take quarterbacks, edge rushers, offensive tackles, corners.
Sure.
That's what you want to take. And so for this team, if you wanted to, and you wanted to do it that way, where you're like, hey, I made the right
I missed it.
safe pick.
Damn it.
You can just narrow it down then to offensive tackles and corners at 10.
Sure.
If you want to be right and you want to be safe, just narrow it down to Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell, and whoever your corners are.
And in my mind, I'm hoping for Rashawn Slater. If I can manifest anything into the universe, it's got to be Rashawn Slater for me. I just think that's where you get the best bang for your buck. He's offensive tackle 1 for me, and I hope teams get nervous about the short arm things or whatever because he's got the best scouting report in the National Football League draft in 2021. His scouting report simply says, "I whoop Chase Young." If your scouting report says, "I whoop Chase Young," you got to draft that dude off the rip, especially if you play Chase Young twice a year. With that being said, though, Brother Jeff, you had an interesting tweet over the past couple of days, and I just kind of wanted you to bring it to the people and explain it. Then I wanted to put a little bit of bop in it on the back end. You said J.C. Horn is your cornerback 1 for now. Now, it's February 24th. We got till the end of April to figure this thing out. But as of now, J.C. Horn is your cornerback number 1. Explain, sir.
Okay, so I've seen now at least 3 games of each of the top corners, and I'll let people into my process.
Yeah.
When I am watching, like I've watched probably 15 to 20 corners, right? And when I'm watching them, you watch one, bam, you put him in the round grade you give him, and I don't worry about him for a while. Then I watch my next guy, put him in a round grade, and as you're going, you put
Why
him
isn't
in a
my
round
tight end
grade.
catching
so I
that?
have my order in there, but then when I've seen them all, I will literally go back and I'll be like, all right, my first round guys, and I'll just read the notes. Like, okay, that's him, that's him, that's him. And when I did that, what I realized is I had Caleb Farley too high. I had Farley as cornerback 1. He had the least positive notes of my first round cornerbacks.
Yeah.
And J.C. Horn and Surtain, for me, are close. Because Surtain doesn't have anything I have to fix, but I also don't think he's as athletic or agile as Horn.
Sure.
So those 2 are kind of my battle, and I've got Horn, Surtain, Farley, Joseph. And you could put Joseph 3rd.
Let me kind of guess what your thoughts are on Farley. Is it that he's super athletic, but every time you think about it, you're just like projecting what he is or is not or whatever, what he's doing? Or if this happened in the league, what'll happen? Because that's what I find myself doing a lot. I think the one film that everybody kind of goes to with Farley is that Miami game or whatever, where he made all the big plays. I don't think he makes those same plays in the league. Like, it looks like he makes that play, but when you watch Farley,
That might not be a...
he gets beat off the line of scrimmage. He has this incredible speed to catch up, but he doesn't have nuance to slow down and look for the balls. He just kind of run through people. You know what I'm saying? While he's running routes with the receivers, what I call him doing. And when I look at him and go, man, like some ball placement quarterback is gonna back shoulder fade the shit out you if you ain't gonna slow down and look backwards. You know what I mean? So that's how I end up projecting with Farley, to where everybody else I can just kind of concrete see what's going on with them. Now, it's a little different for me, and I got another question too. It's a little different for me because I got JC and Kelvin Joseph as my 1A, 1B guys. And
I can appreciate because that's big nuts.
That's fam. But look, this is my thing about Kelvin. Let me just be fair with Kelvin Joseph. I'm not saying him in a draft perspective because Kelvin Joseph is gun under the seat guy. He's y'all got weed guy. He's check my here's my mixtape link guy. You know what I'm saying? He's all those guys.
But he is literally guy who opted out of the bowl game, and his coaches wanted him to opt out of the bowl game. So 2 coaching staffs in college basically told him, "You can go if you want."
Fair, all that good stuff. But talent-wise, if we're doing tape, if we just talk about talent, Kelvin Joseph is as good as those other guys. Plus, I've been saying this story for just for the past week or so. I remember watching Marcus Peters, and somebody told me, "Hey, Vash, what do you think about the corner that was beating up his coach or that choked his coach out?" Like, I'm not going to draft a player that choked his coach out. And I watched the Marcus Peters film; he was the best cornerback on tape, and I just had to trust that idea. I see the same thing with Kelvin Joseph, fam. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people don't want to go there because we haven't been conditioned to talk about Kelvin Joseph as one of those top 3 dudes, and it's still February and like early. But I think the more you watch film on Kelvin Joseph, dog, the more you just kind of fall in love with that dude.
I think Newsom's the same way, by the way. Northwestern, Greg Newsom.
We're going to talk about Greg Newsom.
Okay, I was going to say, I think he's the same way. The more I watch him, I'm like, okay, that's probably a top 5 corner in this class.
It just kind of make you a little nervous.
Oh my gosh.
Mix names up a little bit. So because there's something else that, people just kind of, they have to put themselves into changing their thought processes, right? Because we've been so conditioned with this idea that Surtain and Farley are top 10 guys. If you think a corner is better than Surtain and Farley, do you take them top 10 where you would take corner at? Because we've seen mocks to where somebody will take Pat Surtain at 6, or somebody will take Pat Surtain at 10 or at 12 or something. Okay, cool. If you're watching film and you're being righteous with your board and you think J.C. Horn or Kelvin Joseph are better than those guys, do you take them at 5, 10, or 12? Because I see all the time somebody say, yo, Kelvin Joseph is incredible. J.C. Horn, I'm going to trade back to 15 and go get him. But in my mind, if you think really highly of those guys, better than this corner that you've been ranking at 10 for the past couple months, why won't you take Horn and Joseph at 10? I'll take Joseph and Horn at 10 and not lose no sleep. What you think, Brother Jeff?
Yeah, you need to be able to. I mean, that's the thing. My guy brought us would call that, you don't window dress your board, right? We're not moving things. Like, you're putting them where you believe they go. So if I believe that somebody is better than somebody else and you're ready to take somebody else at 10, then you damn sure better take somebody at 10. That's... And especially at a position like corner. If you think that the dude is an outstanding corner, you pick him. You don't play games with that. You don't say, well, what if I get back to 15 and he's... Okay, so now you're going to assume that you're the only one who has good scouting eyes and realizes that somebody who's not being talked about that way could go up that high. You're going to lose your guy. Yeah. So, yeah, you don't play games with that. If you think J.C. Horn is cornerback 1, you pick him. Groupthink is not fun. You don't do groupthink on the draft. You got your guys. You've seen them. You ranked them. Pick them.
One more question, sir. And then we're going to move on to these player breakdowns because it's February, so we're really into day 2 guys, like early day 3 guys, whatever. So we just talking about these top guys because I think it's some good conversation about these top guys. But we deeper into corner right now. Let me ask you a question, Jeff. So, what was I about to say to you? Watch this. Okay, cool. What makes J.C. Horn better than Pat Surtain, while what's making Pat Surtain better than a guy like Kelvin Joseph? Why you got him ranked the way you got him ranked?
Okay, so Joseph, my only problem with Joseph is I think he plays light. As in, and this is, you have to nitpick, right? I'm sorting through really good players.
I give up.
Joseph, I think he really struggles
I can't play.
to get off blocks and tackle, which isn't that important for a corner, but that's the same thing in routes. I think he plays like a guy who's 190 pounds or less. I love the way he covers. I love him in man. I love the way he moves. I love him in cover 3. I love a lot about him. I just think he plays light. That's my big Joseph thing. And with Surtain, I really don't have any big thing. Surtain might go run a 4.49.
Sure. He could.
And maybe he runs a 4.56. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But, the things about Surtain that I'm putting on him is just, that might get you beat in the league sometimes against certain guys. And with Joseph, I do have at least one thing where I'm kind of like lighting the butt.
Do you trust Pat Surtain if you're because this is everybody's team. If you're a team that blitzes a lot and run a lot of cover 0, no safety help, cover 1, little safety help, would you trust drafting Patrick Surtain and just running him out there by himself on an island with no safety help?
This might be a terrible comp, but I am a little bit hesitant to say yes. Mm-hmm. But I felt the same way about Marlon Humphrey, and he was kind of a physical, and I was like, oh, it's a zone guy and a tackling guy, and then it was like, well, crap, he got to the league and no problem.
But see, this is how weird this draft is, right? Because Marlon can run, Marlon could hit people, Marlon could man cover, and Marlon went like 12 or something. And I think way more about Marlon than I do because I don't think Surtain does some of these things that Marlon Humphrey does well. But it's just this class that we dealing with. We got to put these corners here. You know. So that's interesting that you said that. What makes me look at it is different situations, right? Is what teams can use them. You can be Pat Surtain all day. He's got to run in the flats and jam people and run close and not have to worry about deep stuff. Oh, please. But I feel like if I was a team that blitzed a whole bunch, then I would feel much better about a guy like Kelvin Joseph and J.C. Horn. So good conversation for everybody in Jeff's chat box. Y'all let us know who you would like so y'all can run Jeff's algorithm up.
Are you freaking kidding me? He did it again.
Come on. We do have people chatting, by the way. I'm going to hit a couple of supers if that's okay with you.
Go ahead, because I'm going after you. Go ahead.
Human being, by the way, that's a hefty combo meal there. Appreciate you. Hey, dude, say we can't get a deal done with Dak. Don't put that on us. What QB would you take, if any, and would you consider trading up? You know who I keep seeing, and this is Vach's worst enemy, is mock drafts. But boy, I keep seeing Justin Fields dropping. He's dropping in people's rankings. In a world, Vach, in a world far, far away.
Indeed.
Where they know they're not going to get a deal done with Dak. They just can't. Todd France tells them to go away, and they all hang up on each other, and they're all super pissed. In this draft, I would say give me Justin Fields.
How come everybody hates Jerry Jones, but nobody talks shit about Todd France? I can't stand Todd. Todd France is the one making this shit difficult. Why don't we hate Todd France?
Todd France sabotaged the deal last year. Yeah. 2 years ago, I would blame the Cowboys. Last year, I would blame Todd France.
If it's a world where I had to try to live without Dak Prescott, then it'll be silly to not look at Justin Fields. But in that same world, if you get Dak Prescott signed and Justin Fields is on the board at 10, you put on your cap and trade down shirt right there. I'm brick, and we gonna get some picks. And damn all these guys we talking about. We picking at 15 players. Get your money. Go ahead.
Joseph, combo meal. How do you feel about trading Connor Williams for a safety/corner or a Gallup for Gilmore deal? If you want to do Gallup for Gilmore, but like those aren't things that I'm thinking. Those aren't things that I'm thinking about. Like if you could turn Connor Williams into a starting safety or corner, fine, go ahead, no problem. But like Gallup for Gilmore, I guess that is the deal last year of a deal. But that's something that I think about if. Thank you, Joseph. If the best player on the board at like 10 is a receiver. If I took Jalen Waddle at number 10, now I'm calling teams with corners about Michael Gallup. That's what he's shaking. What is he shaking? What is Shabbat shaking? What are you shaking?
I'm shaking my head, sir.
About what are you shaking at?
So like I understand that it's fun sometimes, but I think a lot of people take these trade scenarios like really seriously. And Vach,
I won't let you Gilmore.
I don't think Gallup gets you. First of all, if that's like okay, think about what you're saying, Doja. Like, hey, I will give you this player that I would love to give away for the best player at this position. Can we talk?
Like, well, but corners get old in a hurry, and Gilmore might have just got old. They get old fast.
Connor Williams for a starting safety?
Well, yeah, but that's why, like, Connor Williams, I think, is a nothing to other teams. And for you, he's either a starting left guard or, as much as a lot of people like to give him hell, he's at least a really good backup guard in the NFL. So, like, he has value to you. I think the things you would talk about trading on the Cowboys, it's kind of depressing, for real, because the answer is they don't have those things. There aren't guys on the Cowboys that people would want to trade for because they haven't drafted that well over the last few years. Like, could Gallup have some trade value? Yes. To a team that is really hurting a receiver, Miami. If they could throw you a 3 for Michael Gallup, might they do that? Yeah, maybe. But a lot of teams would rather just pick a guy than trade for what you have.
Plus, I think Gallup in your situation is more important than a third-round pick. Because you probably end up taking a receiver in the third round. So like if you had an extra third round pick, I think you should draft receiver at some point this year. I don't know when, but like, come on, son, just keep.
Oh, there was a guy wide open.
And Gallup
I
works
just
for
saw him.
you. Gilmore may be trash over here. We don't know. Just relax. You got some more money over there, or
are you kidding me?
Get your money, man.
G-Do 22 with a dog picture. Oh, I love it. With the corner depth, how far apart are the top 10? Are their cards touching? If so, why not wait on corner? The answer to me, I think, and I appreciate you very much, I think the answer to me is you don't wait because corner's super important. Not only is it a big need, it's a super important, it's a super valuable position. But as far as how close they are, like I can just pull it up real quick for me. First round corners: Horn, Surtain, Farley, Kelvin Joseph at Kentucky. Second round corners: Asante Samuel Jr., Florida State; Elijah Molden, Washington; Greg Newsome, Northwestern; Aaron Robinson, UCF; Paulson Adebo, Stanford; Ifeatu Melifonwu, Syracuse. I got 6 dudes in the second round. I got 4 dudes in the first round. There are a lot of good corners. So all things being equal, maybe you could wait on that and go a different route because I think you can get a baller in the second round in this draft. But at the same time, don't be afraid to pick one early. Corner's important.
Plus, you might have to pick one early because that might be the best player on the board for you. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to just say, I'm going to pass up corner because it's corner later, but end up taking Russo or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get your best guys.
I'm sorry, you said taking who?
I won't even manifest that, but you can go ahead and read it if you want to. I'm not going to read it, but you can read it if you want to, Saturday.
Unknown, thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Vosh appreciates it. We can't go wrong at 10 unless we draft Gregory Rousseau. I saw our guy. I saw our buddy John Honing. I don't know if he'd seen Rousseau, but I just saw him tweet. He was like, Rousseau's 3-sack performance against Pitt is the worst 3-sack performance I've ever seen. And I just hit reply. I just said, that's him.
Fam, I don't understand. But Vosh, he had 15 sacks last year. Okay, 4 of them was against the worst guard I've ever seen in Pittsburgh. And 3 of them was against Pittsburgh, and 4 was against the worst guard I've ever seen in Florida State.
My gosh.
That's half. You know what I'm saying? And
halfway home.
I give up.
I'm sick of him. I don't even want to see him no more. So I'm not here for Russo. It's gonna be. I'm gonna get a good laugh at whatever team ends up drafting him. Somebody gonna do it, but whatever. Frank Mason dropped a 5 in my super chat. He ain't putting no question on that, so appreciate you. Lamont says, is Joseph this year's Randy Gregory? Well, we